Hello everyone, how is it going? It's Derek here. Today I'm going to go over an outline feature that you can use to highlight an object that you can select on screen. This is useful when you want to highlight an object from your beam model, so you can discuss this with people. And highlighting an object makes it easier to let people be on the same page, so make communication a bit easier. Now, this outline feature that I have got is from the Unity VFab Viewer template, which is available free on GitHub. I will put a link in the description below. Bear in mind that this template includes so many other features and we are only particularly interested in one small part of it. And to make things easier for you, I've extracted the path that we need in this video and uploaded it in my own GitHub page. I've also put the link in the description below. Please also notice that this outline feature is targeting URP in Unity, which is Universal Render Pipelines. URP is highly optimized for a range of platforms, from mobile all the way to high-end PC. So in the last video, I've done a fly-through camera, and this is a very good standard feature to implement into your model viewer. But right now, if you move your mouse at any time, your camera will also get rotated with the movement. This is not very helpful if you want to select an object with your mouse. Therefore, we need to modify it a little bit to make this work in our selection feature. What we want to do is to let camera rotate only when holding the right mouse button. So we can set the camera position and angle at where we want to select and move our mouse to select and highlight the object. So first thing first, we need to add a new action on our input asset. If you are using the free camera controller provided by Unity like I have in here, you should be able to find the input action asset under the starter asset folder, input system folder, and open up the starter asset right here. This will open up a new editor window like this. Now we want to add a new action on these assets and we call it look input. So we can either click on the plus icon on the top right, or just right click on this empty space in here and select add action. Then we call our new action look input. Next, we want to add our blinding to this action. With the new blinding selected, we can modify it in the right hand side panel. So go into the path view, and when we click on it, we can see a list of options to blind and button into this action. And what we want is the right mouse button. Therefore, let's select mouse and then right button. We can select the keyboard mouse option below, which makes our blinding only works when there is only a keyboard and a mouse connecting to the machine. Now let's go to the interaction section below and add a new one by clicking the plus icon at the top right corner and select press. Then we want to change the trigger behavior to press and release. This will notify us when the user presses the button as well as they release the button. If only press only or release only are selected, we will get the camera rotating with you even after you release the button, or it won't rotate the camera at all once we define action in the script. And once we have done everything here, we hit save assets on the top, so our change will get saved. Then close this window as we won't need this for now. We will need it again later in the video, so you can always stock it somewhere in the editor if you want. But my preference is usually to make the editor as clean as possible. Next, we need to modify our starter asset input script to handle the action that we just created. And the script is in the same folder of the starter assets. So double click on it to open up with your IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, or just a software that you want to use to edit your script, if this makes it easier to understand what I'm talking about. Once I've got it open, I'll start by creating a arrest function. To make sure we don't rotate the camera when moving our mouse at the start of the application, we put cursor input for look as false, like this. The next thing we want to do is to add a function to interact with the look input action that we defined earlier. Because we named the action as look input, so on the script we need to make the function call on look input to match with it. And what we have got to do is to enable cursor input for look to be true when the button is pressed and false when the user releases the button. So we put cursor input for look is equal to value dot is pasted. And we also to make sure that our look value is reset to nothing when the button is released to prevent continuous rotation of the camera. So I've put it in here as look equal cursor input for look question mark look colon sign vector 2.0. This is just a simple way to say if cursor input for look is true, do this, or else do that. So instead of using a few lines, we can just do this in one line of code. Now go back into Unity and let it finish loading. Then we press play to test it. And it is working just fine. Now we can focus the selection part. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we're going to use the package that I have prepared before. Follow the instruction on the main page to import it into the project. If you haven't done it already, please set your project to URP. I'll put a link in the description below. It has the instruction on how to set it all up. If you have done it already, go to Add Renderer feature and select Multi-Selection Outline feature. And we're going to modify it as follows. Make sure the name stay as Multi-Selection Outline feature and change after rendering to after rendering transparency. Choose and select the material below to Multi-Selection Outline. If you import my package using Package Manager, you can find the material inside the Outline feature folder under Package, like I have in here. Use the lock to lock the inspector and drag the material across. Finally, make sure the intimate texture is set to always. And now the renderer feature is now ready to use. Next, we need to go back into static assets to make a new action for selection. So like what we were doing before, let's add a new action and call it select. We can do very similar thing as before, except this time we make our own path to left button of the mouse instead of the right one. And under interaction, instead of using press and release, we can only use press only. So it only gets triggered when the button is pressed. And let's save it again to make it compile in the editor. Along with the assets that you import into the project, it has scripts that you can attach to your game object. Make sure you're selecting the game object with the static asset input component and add the highlight object selection script. Once you have added to the new game object, the object outline script where you can define your outline colors. Next, please open up the highlight object selection script. I've prepared 3 different ways to highlight the objects. We have one to highlight beam object when you import the model using pipc. We have one here when importing the model using VFlat package. And at last, the one that doesn't need to be a beam object, even if there's no metadata attached with the object. So what you can do is to uncomment the section that you need to hit save. If you're having errors like I have it in here, it is because the assembly definition is not added to my package. And this is also because I don't know which one you like to use. So let's go to the assembly definition inside the outline feature package and add the other assembly definitions according to your need. So if you need pipc, then add pipc ones, and if you need the VFlat one, just add the VFlat one, just like this. At last, you can add some collider on your objects that you want to select or interact with. Select the objects that you want to get highlighted. Make sure it has a mesh renderer. You can just add a collider using the add button on the inspector panel. Or if you have been watching my previous video, I create a little editor helper to allow you to easily add collider by defining the beam data. If you like to watch that again, I put a link in the description below, or click on the top right hand corner at this video right now. Alright, so let's give it a try now. Press play in the editor and select the object that you want. You can see it is highlighted. And this is what I've got for you today. I hope you enjoy it. I'll cover more video in the future. Please make sure you subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.